Hello and welcome back to another little bug video by me, FoxyNoTail, here on basically a world download of the Truly Bedrock Realm. And I've got a big bug for you today that is causing lots of problems with villages. I don't normally do these bug videos unless I find something that's particularly bad, and I found something really bad today. So the problem is villages are completely broken. I'm going to try and explain it in the best I can. So recently I made a couple of videos detailing how to make a combined trading hall and iron farm by locking your villagers inside of glass, linking them to their bed and linking to them to their workstation, and then you can have your iron farm inside. I built this on the Truly Bedrock Realm yesterday and it worked absolutely perfectly. I logged out, I logged in again, it worked fine. I went AFK overnight, and until I was kicked, it was all right. But then when I logged back in the morning, there was massive problems, and I'll show you what I mean. If I set the time to midnight, you'll see none of them will go to bed. But they're not doing the unhappy villager thing. They're not giving off any particles to say they can't find their bed. They're not giving off particles to say they can't find their workstation. And the reason for that is because they no longer exist. Although the village is still here, and that bell is still part of the village, and the workstations are still part of the village, these villagers no longer exist in the village. And what's happened is, somehow, this village has expanded by 1,300 blocks in that direction and 700 blocks in that direction, and it's connected to a barrel that's in the shopping centre. Now, all of these villagers has been completely wiped out from the village, so they're not upset because they don't realise they're in a village, even though the village technically is still around this area. Now, there's a couple of guys in a little hole down here that I think might have caused a little bit of the problem, because there's 3 of those there, and there's also, if we fly over this way, which is already hundreds of blocks away, but there is, or there was at least, yeah, here he is, look, there's still a villager down here. And did you see he's got the green sparkles? He's just connected to something. This villager here has just connected to something. Bear in mind, I'm in a world download, right? There's nobody else logged in. There's no workstations or beds for miles, but somehow that villager has connected to something. Now, if I TP over that way, and I come over to the shopping centre, this barrel here is what one of my villagers is connected to. And I know all this because I've looked at the data. So we're in the shopping centre at the moment, and that barrel they've connected to. So if I bring up the map, I can show you exactly what's happened. So this is a map of the Truly Bedrock Realm. Each one of these red circles is one of our bases. My base is down here, and the shopping area where we are at the minute is up here. My village is literally on the corner of this blue rectangle here, and that barrel is on the corner of this blue rectangle here. My village has actually expanded to cover this entire area. This entire blue area is now my village. So it's 700 blocks long in that direction, and it's over 1,300 blocks long in that direction. And the village should only actually be 64 blocks by 64 blocks as the default size. So somehow, those 3 villagers in a cave are down there. That one villager on his own is there, which is pretty much in the middle, right? But there's nothing else. There's no workstations, no beds, no other villages in all that area as far as I'm aware. So I'm guessing somehow one of those has been loaded, or something's been loaded in the shopping area at the same time as my village, at the same time maybe as one of those. And it's all connected and created one big village. Now we're going to look at the data and see what's going on. So this is using Universal Minecraft Editor software. This OFE starting number villages is my village. And you'll see here we have basically 6 coordinates. This -644 is in my base, and this 1054 is in my base, but the 56 and the 84 are not in base. And if I put that in my fancy little spreadsheet, it shows us that village center is at -294 by 392. So let's go there. So those coordinates bring us out right here, which is literally on this block, right near my villager. So the only thing I can think is that somebody must have been loading the shopping area at the same time as my base and that villager. So I was AFK in my base last night. Someone must have been in the shopping area working on the shopping stuff, and someone must have been flying over this area and loaded this guy up, and the game's gone, hey, let's combine all of those things together. Now that would be absolutely fine. Well, it wouldn't. That would be terrible, but it wouldn't be so bad if all of my other villagers hadn't been deleted from the village. So all of these villagers that I spent hours painstakingly linking to the right bed and linking to the right workstation to make this little mini iron farm work has now been completely undone because they're no longer linked to any of them. They're no longer linked to anything. They, as far as they're concerned, they're not even standing in a village, even though the village border does come past here. So that's a big problem. And yeah, I guess the guys that are in this thing, these are causing issues as well. So I guess the fix for this would be to kill those guys and kill that other guy and break the barrel at Daphne's shop. But I don't know if that's going to... Well, these are all, like, yeah, not resync back to it, which is a big problem. So looking back at the data, we've got this thing called Places of Interest, or POI, which actually shows what items, as in beds, bells, and workstations, are linked to. Now, when I looked at this a minute ago, it showed there were only 4 entries, so 4 villagers, but now it's showing 5, so another village has been added to the mix somehow. And you'll see each one of these is linked to different things. So we've got a villager down here that's not linked to anything. So that villager isn't linked to any beds or workstations. This villager up here is linked to something in my area. So that's a bed in my actual village area. So that's fine. But then he's actually linked to something in the shopping area, which is a bell. So he's linked to a bell in the shopping area and a bed in my village. This villager's linked to a bed in my village and the bell in my village, but they've linked to a barrel. That's Daphne's barrel at her shop in the shopping area. So it's all kind of broken. These villagers are linking for thousands of blocks. Bearing in mind, like I said before, they've gone 1,300 blocks in that direction and 700 blocks in that direction. They shouldn't even really be able to link up to the guys over there because there's no spare beds or workstations anywhere. So I really don't know what has caused all of this problem. I don't know. It's a big problem. Mojang, not only do we have the problem that the villagers will desync from their workstations and their beds when you reload the game sometimes, but also they can connect so far away. Please fix it. It's not right. You created an update called the Village and Pillage update, and for Bedrock Edition, both of them are completely broken. You can't have a village, you can't have a custom village that works the way you want to do because the villagers won't connect to the workstations you want them to and they won't connect to the beds you want them to. They'll just change. And the pillagers don't spawn where they should do. They get stuck inside things. It's just complete mess. It's a complete mess. Please, please fix it. Or just this one so I can have this without it connecting across the map and ruining everyone else's villages as it goes through and does it. Please, please fix it. It really shouldn't be this difficult. Thank you all very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, do please leave a like. If you haven't already, please do subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you all in the next one.